Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alina, and I'm a growth-minded single mom here in Houston, Texas. On this channel, I talk about all the things that I'm going through in life while I try to reach the dreams that God has put in my heart. So that includes improving my financial literacy, growing in faith, optimizing my health and my child's health, dating, and so much more. But in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all how I was able to lose 20 pounds and keep the weight off without working out. So stay tuned for my 3 tips on that. This year, I turned 31 years old, which feels so crazy to say, but I feel so thankful to have reached my 30s, be in my 30s, and have made all the progress in life that I have made. I feel healthy, I feel excited, I feel capable. And when I think about who I was in my 20s and even in my late teens, I recall a lot of turmoil and self doubt and self hatred and some uncomfortable relationships with my food and my health. Okay, so I was introduced to health and wellness through my job when I was about 19 years old in a gym. And I'm so happy that I had that job because I learned how to work out and how to lift weights. But if you have any personal experience with personal trainers, I don't know how it is today, but a decade ago, personal trainers were um, like putting in a lot of time in the gym with lifting heavy weights and doing hour of cardio or the stairmaster before or after their workout, eating like bodybuilders diets, which consists of like boiled chicken, white rice, broccoli, and like sugar-free ketchup. And yeah, so that was the idea that I had in my mind of what a healthy lifestyle was and what working out was. And it worked for me for a little while. I got some muscles and I was feeling really great about my body. But something that came out of that experience was this kind of all or nothing mentality. Like, okay, if I'm not in the gym lifting heavy weights, it's not really workout and therefore it's not worth doing. Or if I'm not doing the weights and doing the cardio, then it's not really giving me the effects that I want. So it's not worth it. Or furthermore, if I'm not lifting the weights, doing the cardio, and following a strict diet, then it's not worth it. And so I began this like volatile relationship with my health, where if I wasn't doing everything exactly how I had planned, then I wasn't doing it at all because it seemed like it wasn't worth it. But I watched this documentary on Netflix, Live to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones. And there is some controversy around it. But what I mainly got from this documentary, which by the way, this documentary is about, um, this documentary talks about communities around the world with high concentrations of centenarians, which are people who are living to 100 or more. These blue zones can be found in Japan, Greece, Italy, Costa Rica, and even in Loma Linda, California. Now, what inspired me about this documentary as someone who was approaching my 30s at the time is that it proved to me that people can live a long life and be independent, mobile, have cognitive functioning, and can live overall full lives past 80 years old. And they were doing so without following this lifestyle that I believed was what, which without following this lifestyle that was supposedly healthy that I had been previously exposed to. Okay, so these people were like doing natural movements such as gardening, walking every day, cooking, just staying active. They were eating mindfully, eating till their bodies were 80% full. A lot of places follow a plant based diet. They were investing in their social lives, their lives with their family and their friends, their community, and having a positive outlook on life by, like, decreasing their stress or managing their stress well. So this documentary really opened my eyes and inspired me to readdress my relationship with my health. I did not want to go into my 30s with this all or nothing mentality anymore. I wanted to go in with having my North Star being this healthy, mobile lifestyle as long as God will allow me. Okay? So that started my number one tip, which was my mindset shift. Okay? So I shifted my idea of what was healthy from having a specific body type or being in the gym for an hour and a half to doing things that allowed me to move my body, have a overall healthy lifestyle, and were drops in the bucket for a life where I could be a healthy centenarian. Okay, so that's point number one is if you are wanting to live your healthiest life going into your 30s and beyond, I would recommend, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. So, this mindset shift from having more of an instant gratification to a longevity approach to my health has really transformed what I feel that I'm deserving of. Because when I am focusing on aesthetics and short term gratification, I put too much pressure on myself to look a certain way, or I compare myself to others, or I put myself on a very strict timeline. And when I take a longevity approach, it takes a lot of the pressure off me to be perfect. I can kind of settle into this 80/20, 70/30 lifestyle where on average I'm making sure that I'm being active and moving my body and eating, at least one nourishing meal a day and feeling good about that, feeling proud about that, which brings me to my sub points of which brings me to another point, but this is still within the mindset shift, is that in order to have a long-term healthy relationship with your health and your fitness and your nutrition, I feel that it is so important to be respectful of yourself and be encouraging. And what I mean by that is that all of us start here, okay? And here is relative. Here is wherever you actually are in reality with your health and fitness journey, okay? Here for some people is that they are sedentary. Here it for some people is that they are moderately active or maybe very active, or maybe you're an athlete, okay? But here is all of our starting points, okay? And then we have here or here or here, which is our ultimate goals. And a lot of us, when we set goals for our health, we set the bar very high. And if you'll see my two hands, you see how much ground that I have to cover in order to reach these goals. And we set these goals and we often don't even give ourselves a stepping ladder to get up to this high ultimate goal that we have. So we really set ourselves up for failure here because it's just not fair to place expectations on ourselves to reach this high goal with no ladder, no support, and we watch ourselves try to jump and rise to the occasion, but without the proper support, the proper tools, the proper protocols, um, the proper knowledge, we're not going to reach this bar. Okay. And I find that this is the cycle that keeps people from ultimately becoming healthy. And it kept me from becoming healthy for so long because seeing myself fail to rise to the occasion, fail to rise to the fail to rise to the expectations that I'm placing on myself caused me to actually lose faith in myself. I lost confidence in myself and I lost trust within myself because I was like, oh, wow, I obviously cannot reach the goals that I'm setting for myself. So why should I even try? Oh, wow, I can't reach this goal of working out 5 days a week. So why should I even try? And it brings forth all these negative thought patterns about oneself. So, so my suggestion instead is to set the bar 1 inch from where you are. Okay. And I did this exercise with my sister yesterday. Okay. So if I'm here, I want to set the bar just right here. Okay. So if you are sedentary, your first bar might be to do 1 7-minute walk in the day. Or do 1 7-minute walk in the week. That's a real 1 inch, I feel. Okay, so you're coming from a sedentary lifestyle, set the bar 1 inch with 1 7-minute walk, or maybe 1 10-minute walk, whatever. 7 10 minutes, either or. I just say 7 because it took me 7 minutes to walk around the block when I started my 1 inch bar process. So when you set the bar 1 inch from where you are, you give yourself a chance to meet your expectations. You give yourself the opportunity to build confidence, self-trust, and you're practicing setting reasonable and respectful expectations on yourself. Okay? And by doing so, you give yourself the opportunity to be proud of yourself. Okay, so you reach one step, you reach your first 1 inch expectation on yourself, and you celebrate. You tell yourself how proud you are of yourself, how amazing you are, just like you would like cheer on a baby for taking their first steps. That's how you need to cheer yourself on when you reach that first step, okay? And then once that 1 7-minute walk a week seems so easy and you naturally want to do more, then you set another 1 inch bar, okay? You see where I'm going with this? You set a 1 inch bar, 2 7-minute walks a week. Okay, you reach that, and then you're able to stack it. Okay, this is the tool this is the ladder. Okay, this is what you are providing yourself with in order to reach this ultimate goal up here, which is maybe to run a marathon or to lose 20 pounds, whatever the case may be. You're setting a respectful pathway for yourself, and along the way, you're developing this peaceful, supportive relationship within yourself. So that is my number one most important step in having an actual healthy life, and is how I lost 20 pounds and have been able to keep it off as a woman in her 30s. Is to shift from a, a perspective of focusing on your aesthetics, which I feel is a form of self-hatred actually. When you like go into your health focus on like, oh, I need to fix this thing that I hate about myself, it's not coming from a good place. But when you do it from a longevity mindset, your longevity mindset is saying, hey, actually, I feel like I'm worth living a long and healthy life. Therefore, I'm going to treat my body well, treat my body right, and fuel my body well for the most part. I'm not saying to be perfect because I'm definitely not perfect. Okay. Like I have my own things with like I craved all the sugars from time to time and I indulge when I want to, sometimes too much. but I'm not going to hate myself for that. I'm going to just make sure I do my best because that's the only way that I'm going to get to live a long and healthy lifestyle is if I do my best. I'm not too hard on myself and I set reasonable and respectful expectations on myself. I give myself time to catch up to the big dreams that I have in my mind. Okay. My second point is my nutrition. So, like I said, when I was introduced to the health industry, a lot of people were eating like, egg whites and chicken breast and sugar-free ketchup and rice and broccoli. And I do not enjoy eating like that. And in fact, I think a lot of people think that like eating healthy means that you have to eat a lot of salad. So I don't eat healthy. I try to eat nourishing meals. And I don't always, but I try to. Okay? So this is another mindset change that I had to do. It was like, okay, I'm not gonna eat healthy. If healthy means that I'm eating salads all day, I don't want to do that. I want to eat meals that make me excited, that make me feel good about myself, and that is to eat whole foods. And I'm talking about protein focused beautiful plate of food. Okay, so I'm eating, 5 ounces of protein, a steak, which I love, or ground beef, or chicken, or turkey, or whatever your protein source that you love is. Okay. And I'm following that with other whole food sides. Okay. Lately, I've been really loving a 93-7, which is 93% lean, 7% fat, grass fed, grass finished ground beef from HEB, putting in a really nice, simple tomato sauce and eating that with spaghetti squash. And that's my spaghetti dish. I love this dish so much. And I feel that I'm able to make it protein forward. Oh, and sometimes I put spinach in the sauce too, and also have my I would say vegetables, but squash is a fruit. So, but then the spinach is a vegetable. So, yeah. Okay. So my point is that I adjusted my mindset about food. Okay. I went from focusing on eating healthy, don't love that, to eating nourishing meals. And this is another opportunity to set the bar low for yourself. If you are someone who eats out or eats junk, all the time, it's not fair to yourself to say, oh, I'm going to start eating healthy. That's it. No cheats for me. Because I'll tell you, not even within myself, but I see it in corporate America with my coworkers. What you're going to do is you're going to want to crash diet for a week. You're going to starve yourself. Then you're going to binge. Okay. Because the weekend comes around, you're going to want to drink with your friends, which you should if you want to. You're going to eat a lot, not only because you're drinking, but because you've, you know, restricted yourself so much during the week. Then you're going to feel like crap about the way you eat, but you're not going to get right back on the wagon because you hate being on the wagon. You don't like doing that to yourself. Your body doesn't like that. So you're going to continue your binge for another 3 weeks until the fourth week of the month when you decide, okay, I've gained another 2 pounds and now I want to get back on the wagon. And you're going to self-hatredize yourself into going back on the crash diet. Okay, you get my point. It's cyclical. So instead of doing that, and what I did was I told myself, okay, I'm gonna eat one nourishing meal this week. The rest of the meals can be whatever they're gonna be, but one meal this week is gonna be a nourishing meal, and I'm gonna take my time to decide exactly what it is that I want to eat. Something that makes me so happy. Probably a steak and maybe some sweet potato and maybe some broccolini. I love this. I love this meal. And yeah, so what that did was it allowed me to start looking up healthy recipes, start researching little by little what a nourishing meal means to me. And it allowed me to get excited about making it, learning how to cook for myself, learning portion sizes. And it just made the process of um, creating nourishing meals, it made it fun and it made it feel rewarding. And I got to take my time with it and look through different things and see if I want to try this, maybe I want to try that. But the point is I didn't go full throttle into it. I didn't tell myself that I had to eat every single meal perfect because again, that would be setting the bar way up here and not giving myself a chance to catch up. So, just like with anything else, you start with one meal, nourishing meal a week. And once you find, like, oh, wow, I like the way that that meal made me feel. Maybe I want to do that more than once a week. Maybe I want to do it twice a week. Okay. So, there's your other inch that you put above yourself. And you just keep growing off of that. Okay. So that was my nutrition point. And finally, the anti workout club. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like working out because coming from my background, working out means that I had to go to the gym, lift heavy weights, do Stairmaster cardio, and I don't like any of those things. I mean, lifting weights is okay sometimes, but I don't like being sore outside the gym. I feel like my quality of life is decreased when I do that outside the gym. And yeah, I don't like that. So I, instead of working out, I decided that I was going to have a daily movement practice. And in my mind, a daily movement practice is something that I actually deserve, something that I like, because it's so ambiguous. And like, what is that? It's whatever you want it to be. Okay. Think if you're coming from a sedentary lifestyle, your daily movement practice can be 1 5-minute walk in a day. Okay. Or it can be a swim if you like swimming, or it can be stretching if you are feeling low energy. Because sometimes I am feeling low energy during the menstruation time of the month. My practice that day might just be stretching. Okay. So, like I mentioned earlier, um, the way that I set the bar low for myself was to do 1 7-minute walk a week. So, I my daily movement practice is something that I worked up to. It started with 1 7-minute walk a week. And once I proved to myself that that was so easy and I could do more, I eventually made my way up to a daily movement practice. Okay. So if you don't like working out, I encourage you to stop working out and instead take on a movement practice. Now, whether that's a daily movement practice or a weekly movement practice to begin with, that's up to you. And wherever you start is perfect. I'm just so happy that you're starting, and you should be happy and proud of yourself too. Set the bar low, a movement practice. And right now, my movement practice often is me getting at least 10,000 steps in. Some days I'll run, some days I'll just stretch. A lot of days I do calisthenics or mobility workouts or some weightlifting here and there. But I assure you, I am not spending an hour and a half in the gym. I am not getting on the Stairmaster. I did not do any of that to lose 20 pounds and keep it off. So, in conclusion, my pointers to you all who are watching from my own experience in order to lose weight and keep it off is to shift your mindset from like an aesthetic approach to health and wellness into a longevity mindset. And think about, who do you want to be when you're 70, 80, 90, 100 years old? Do you want to be independent, or do you want somebody to be wiping your butt for you? The second point is to shift your mindset from forcing yourself to eat whatever healthy meals are, or like whatever in your mind is healthy, because a lot of us, like I said, have pretty disturbed views of what healthy is, whether that's like and it's often being restrictive. Okay. So we're going to shift away from healthy. We're going to shift toward nourishing. We're going to eat nourishing meals. Okay. No expectation of being perfect. Start slow. And lastly is the anti workout club. I did not lose this weight by working out. I lost this weight by having a movement practice. And thank God now I have a daily movement practice. And if you don't already, you will, because you're going to set the bar low for yourself and you're going to allow yourself to catch up to your goals. Okay. So in the next clip, you guys will see me showing you all my grocery haul, and the audio is a little bit funky because I didn't have my microphone. It was kind of impromptu, and you will see that it's not like a perfect grocery haul. There's a lot of fruit juices and fruits, and that's okay with me because I had been dealing with my sugar cravings for a few weeks. I'd been eating a lot of sweets, and I wanted to respect that that's just where I was at, and I wanted to set myself up for success. Okay, I did not expect myself to not eat any sweets anymore. Instead, I wanted to kind of steer myself away from sweets like pastries or whatever, and in the direction of fruits. Okay, so I was honoring my sugar cravings by giving myself plenty of fruits to choose from, in hopes that I will deter myself from eating as often the sweets with all the added sugars and all that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next clip. Bye.
Hey guys, my daughter is with her dad's side of the family for the summer, so I got to shop for just myself, and I just wanted to show you guys what I got. So this is a grocery haul, and full disclosure, I went to the grocery store after work and after a run, so I went hungry, and so I got probably more than I needed. And also I have been stress eating and eating a lot of sugar, and it's also coming up on my time of the month, so I do have a lot of fruit and fruit juices because I ideally would like to stop eating the sugary snackies and replace it with the fruit. So this is definitely not like a low sugar grocery haul. All right, I'm going to start with my meats. I got 2 ribeye steaks here, and that's all I got for meat so far because I like to get my ground meat from another store that's cheaper. Okay, and for my veggies, I got some broccolini, and I also got a salad that I will eat over the course of a few days. And for my fruits, I got some tomato and some watermelons and banana, because I've been really loving acai bowls lately. I haven't tried this before, but the acai that I was gonna get had added sugar in it, and I don't need 12 grams of added sugar in my acai bowl. So I'm gonna mix this with my bananas and some milk. What I like about this is that it just has 2 ingredients, which is filtered water and almonds. Now I did see this black sesame milk, I guess, which is a mixture of sesame and almond milk. Again, pretty minimal ingredients here that I liked, and so I'm excited to give this a try. I have no idea what it's going to taste like. I got more fruits. I got all my berries, got some blueberries, and I also got some more dates, and I think I showed the fruit juices, but I got a watermelon juice. This one is apple, beet, and orange, and this one's just like a green with, I don't know what's in here. I'm trying to do this before my phone dies. Celery, spinach, cucumber, kale, parsley, and lemon juice. And yeah, I'm basically at the end here, but I got this sparkling water that I've been loving so much. It tastes so good. And some black beans and kidney beans, because I found this recipe that uses red beans, tahini, dates, and cocoa powder, and it makes like a brownie. And last thing is I got whole beets, and that is my grocery haul. So I'll see you guys in the next one.